Hello, my name is Jaime Ortiz, and this is my special project presentation for Seminar in Leadership. Um, I chose to do an analysis of the famous leader, and the reason why I chose that specific assignment was because I thought it would be the best way to sort of put all of the modules and information that we've learned throughout the course together in order to sort of analyze someone who I kind of looked up to and enjoyed learning about in the past. So the person that I chose is Chef Jose Andres. And the reason why I chose him is because over the last 2 or 3 years, he's become pretty famous for leading his nonprofit organization, World Central Kitchen, providing meals and relief in all areas of the world. I initially sort of learned more about his efforts when he went to Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. I have a personal connection to that because I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and I do still have family in Puerto Rico who were affected initially by Hurricane Maria, especially the lack of power and resources that was missing for quite a few weeks and months sometimes. And I do also go to Puerto Rico at least once a year to visit family and enjoy nature. In any case, that's sort of how I first came to know more about Chef Jose Andres. I had seen him on TV. He's sort of a famous, also TV personality. He's a big social media presence. He's very extroverted. So it was actually very easy to do research on him and his efforts to learn more about his leadership traits, behavior, style, etc. He's actually been very open, giving interviews in a multitude of online news magazine articles, lots of interviews, and he also wrote a book regarding his experiences, especially in Puerto Rico after Maria, but also after some of his other efforts in Haiti and also around the United States after earthquakes and hurricanes. So I was able to glean a lot of information while I did this research. So as I mentioned, he is a very extroverted person, very open, very outgoing. Definitely a lot is known about him because he definitely is someone who is not afraid to do things, go in and just sort of jump into action as he did when he first went to Puerto Rico. He is also someone who is very conscientious, as I'll explain. He is very detailed in the way he organizes and puts together his team to put lots of effort into creating a network, building a community while he's out there in a disaster area, sort of finding a way to get supplies, make meals, create a team to do it, not just chefs, other volunteers, teaching people how to make meals, how to cook, and then distribute them. He definitely has to find a way to organize people with little money, sometimes minimal resources, and it's been really amazing what he's been able to do throughout. So again, he's extroverted, he's conscientious. At times he's actually not being very agreeable. He's actually got into conflicts with government agencies, especially FEMA, for their slow efforts after some of these disasters. He sort of has taken into his own to sort of avoid the red tape and just sort of get his own supplies and also organize his own efforts outside of anything that the government may or may not be doing. And this is especially true in Puerto Rico, where he's very vocal, especially on social media, about the lack of response by the federal government. He is someone who's open, he's quick thinking, open to big ideas, someone who is also very good at coaching, right? Everywhere he went, he hopefully got a couple of friends of chefs of his that could help him out, but he also sort of taught people how to do things, gave them jobs, assigned tasks. He's an excellent team leader. He's someone who uses both supportive and participative behaviors in order to get the team involved, in order to get people motivated to do things, in order to help them become part of the team and create their own efforts. In Puerto Rico, for example, he created Chefs of Puerto Rico, which is now an organization that continues to do work there, which they initially started when he initially started with a group of 5 or 6 fellow chef friends of his when he first arrived, who were trying to do some stuff around the island. He grew that number very quickly, and over time they were up to making up to 150,000 meals per day and distributing it all over the island, including using roads that were not passable initially There was no power, there was no water available, and he was able to figure it out. He did not take no for an answer. He always tries to find a solution, and if he can't find it, he finds other people who can help him. So definitely very supportive, precipitative methods, behaviors as a leader, and he also is very much a coach. He teaches people how to do things. Overall, one of the articles mentioned that he's developed a sort of a rapid response leadership style, which is showing, the way he acts pragmatically. A lot of times, just deals with the situation, uses what's available, wants to fix the problem today. He doesn't want to wait for the government. He doesn't want to wait for others. He gets the supplies, he finds the people, and he just gets it going. So very pragmatic style. Obviously, he's very charismatic. Again, I found a lot of information because he loves to give interviews. He's very out there, of course, not just promoting his nonprofit and hopefully getting more volunteers in the future, no matter where they have to go, but also, again, he does run his own restaurant empire, which has been growing, and he obviously makes profit out of that also. He mentions that he's very much a pragmatic capitalist, which means that, obviously he wants to succeed, but in addition to that, he also wants to make sure that the people who work for him are able to provide a good living for their families and for themselves, and that even someone who starts out as a dishwasher can someday become head chef at a restaurant. He wants to make sure he's able to support people and to allow them the opportunity to do that in the future. In that sense, he's very much a transformational leader, very ethical leader also. I think he thinks about people first. Emotional intelligence is something that came up during my analysis of him. He mentioned compassion and the need to sort of make sure that others are feeling better, recovered. A lot of times he just goes to these places, again, with minimal resources, and just wants to meet the people, find out what he can do to help, and then slowly he builds a network. And then again, he doesn't wait for people to say, "Oh well, we'll get some money next week, or we'll get some meals over in a shipment." He says, "I'm going to get it now. It's got to be found somewhere." In Puerto Rico, for example, he quickly found the biggest supplier of food for the island that at the time still had emergency power, and he was able to get food from there to the places where he eventually started cooking. Starting out with some kitchens, eventually grew into a coliseum. Basically, the largest coliseum in San Juan in Puerto Rico was used for weeks to provide meals to hospital workers, government workers, people in need, and then shipping them out on trucks or whatever was available up the mountains to try to help people sort of recover. Very much he transformed Puerto Rico while he was there, and did a lot more, at least from what we've learned, looking back, than even the government was able to do, especially the federal efforts, which were sort of slow and scarce throughout the island. So for that, people are very thankful every time he shows up. He's shown up in California after earthquakes. He's shown up in Carolina after hurricanes, and he continues to do so. And again, it's a volunteer work. I believe this organization only has 3 full-time workers, and they just one day to the next can start the operation. People love him, followers love him, want to do things for him and with him, and they know that they're going to feel good because they're doing something for their fellow man. I think he is definitely the type of leader who's an example to all of us, whether we're in the nonprofit or for-profit business, that it is important to leave a legacy, do something good that is long-lasting, teach people how to do things better. Hopefully that's something that he's been able to do, developing networks at all these places he's gone to. And also to, be an example for people, be a good person, donate your time, your money when you have, your abilities, his skills. He's been able to do all of that and teach other people, support other people, create teams, create networks, and he's a very successful leader in my mind. Someone who I think most of us would look up to for advice and also for knowledge. And for that reason, I chose Chef Jose Andres as a famous leader to talk about in my final project. Thank you.